let's get it going. Because obviously the big news yesterday was Patullo out. You knew he'd be out. You knew Sirianni would stay. So then it's a matter of, all right, moving forward, do you want Sirianni here? Is his job on the line in 26? Should his job be on the line in 26? What do we got? All right, here's where I stand. Firmly, I believe Nick Sirianni is a great head coach. I know a lot of people will move off that over the last week. I get it, guys. It was a disappointing season. It was a very disappointing playoff game. But I think Sirianni brings a lot more pros to the table than cons. Now, I'm not saying I don't bring cons. I'm not saying he's not flawed. He's flawed. The offensive stuff is not great. It's not good to be OC hunting, seemingly every year and not feel like he can just sort of do it himself. That's not good. It's not good. But I see a lot that's very good. From a culture standpoint, the players typically playing very hard. AJ, I think, was the exception at points this year, and it's a tremendous disappointment. Sirianni couldn't get through to him. But I also know this, like Andy Reid, who I think most of us would reasonably acknowledge has been an exceptional head coach, he couldn't get through to TO in 05. And the TO 05 thing was 37,000 times worse than A.J. Brown this year. Not every coach that's great is going to get through to every player every year. It's just not possible.
A coach is greater when the team respects his football acumen. That's for sure.
Yeah, all right, so let's get to it here. 215-592-9494. I think he's great. My guess is a lot of people come in today saying he's good. I have no doubt there will be some people here that come in today and say he's bad. I'll tell you this, after 23, I called for his firing. Thankfully, they didn't because they won the Super Bowl the next year. But I've been there before. I have. I saw the collapse in 23. We all did. And a lot of us, and I was one of them, said, let's can the guy. Well, I'm certainly not saying that this time. I don't think his job should be on the line in 26, but I think it might be. I think it probably is. Curious where you stand on the whole thing. 215-592-9494. John, how do you size up Nick?
All the success our team has had over his coaching duration over these 5 years, how many times has anyone from the outside said, you know what, Nick Sirianni should be coach of the year?
Well, zero.
How many times have people on the outside said, you know what, he needs more respect? Nick Sirianni's a better coach than what we think.
Every once in a while.
Well,
every once in a while. Not
I guess
too
you're
often,
listening to different channels.
Well, I've heard it, but not
the
often.
last game of the season, we watched our offensive staff get outcoached again. The 49ers were not the better team. They were better coached. And, that doesn't happen that often because we are just so much better than most teams. But it really does hurt when you see better coaches, a better taught group, and that's on Nick Sirianni. Our offense faced increased scrutiny this year because the performance dropped off, and really the only change were the offensive line being banged up and Kellen Moore taken off to be the head coach of the Saints. Our scoring dropped from over 27 points a game to 22 a game, and I've gone over ad nauseum that we can't score in the teens it can't score past the teens against the good teams. The rushing attack fell off from 179 yards a game to, just under 117.
But you don't think Nick's the primary reason for that, do you?
No, I think we're not teaching the guys well enough. We're not staying ahead of the Joneses well enough, and that's on Nick. And what about the fact that he actually came out and told us, hey, I'm going to take a bigger role in the offense starting at the beginning of December. And do you remember what Jalen looked like after so much was made? Hey, Nick's going to take a bigger role in the offense. We go and we lose on Monday night to the Chargers when Nick has a bigger role in the offense and Jalen plays the worst game we've ever seen. Throws 4 interceptions, has a 31.3 rating. Nick's bigger role, how'd that work? Well, not well. Our offense actually got worse when Nick took a larger role, and I think the ingredients required to go and be a Super Bowl-worthy team, we've seen it firsthand. You need a capable quarterback. A Vic Fangio defense helps a lot.
Sure does.
But you need a capable offensive coordinator and play caller, and we didn't have that, and that was on Nick once again. Our quarterback, Jalen Hurts, he was in 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years prior, and He was the MVP of a Super Bowl. I know if he's taught the right way, he can do exactly what we need to be a Super Bowl winner. He just wasn't. He wasn't given the information he needed this season. I don't think it should be brushed aside that Jalen's worst game coincided with Nick's greatest offensive involvement this season. And I don't know why. I don't know the details. I think the Eagles want you to forget that Nick declared to the world, I'm going to take a much more pronounced role in this offense. I think unless our defense held our opponents to next to nothing, we could not score enough to win. And there are coaches out there who that's not the case with. I think Kyle Shanahan, Ben Johnson, Sean McVay, Liam Cohen, Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, Josh McDaniels. There are offensively minded head coaches / offensive coordinators who give their teams a much better chance to win than our CEO / offensively minded
Would
head
you
coach.
want Josh McDaniels instead of Nick, though, John?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But he's probably the only one on that list.
Yeah.
There are coaches out there who are successful at being offensive guys. Nick keeps trying to dabble in it, and it doesn't seem to work. We know he's not capable of calling the plays. He relinquished that. These good coaches, they teach their quarterbacks. I know that Joe's going to say today, Jalen Hurts still can't read it out. Nick Sirianni is the one constant in Jalen Hurts' Eagles career. He is the offensively minded head coach who's been working hand in hand with this quarterback. Why is it not on him if Jalen can't read it out the way he needs to read it out? It should be. It absolutely is in my book.
Well, not every quarterback gets it. Some do, some don't.
What are you talking about?
Well, not every quarammany
How
gets
many
it.
quarterbacks? Look.
I watch
the NFL Combine every season.
Yeah.
I don't see quarterbacks out there diagramming up plays. Oh, wow, this quarterback really has a great mind for football. They're out there running. They're out there throwing. That's what players do. The coaches are the ones who teach the players to be better players. The coaches are the ones who teach these guys. Like Mike McDaniel, not a great culture guy, no doubt, but brilliant in terms of teaching players and creating schemes that give his players better angles, better chances, better opportunities to win. I mean, we've gotten so far from doing that. Our offense is, we're going to overpower you with our roster. And it's unfair that we've somehow commingled these concepts. That we've commingled the roster is what wins here with this head coach really is a great head coach. I like that he's held this team accountable through the years. I don't know that he can do that with the same effectiveness that he once did.
Do you want him to be the coach?
I think next year will tell us a lot.
But do you want him? I want him to be. Do you want him to be the coach?
I think we'd have better options elsewhere. I think there's no way, based on what they've created.
There's incredible options. I mean,
what they've created here, you can't go get Mike Tomlin because you've created a situation where this head coach has won a Super Bowl this calendar year. You can't go and say, hey, we don't want you anymore.
To be clear, you can. You're saying you just wouldn't. Or you think they wouldn't.
They've made it impossible to adjust this year, to adjust the head coach this year.
Listen,
it's just not doable.
Let me say this, guys. I'm pro Sirianni, but I acknowledge there's some incredible coaches available. I mean, Tomlin and Harbaugh are probably going to the Hall of Fame. Like, I'm not going to...
And they've been Coach of the Year nominees and probably Coach of the Year at times.
Yeah.
They've won Super Bowls too.
Right,
but
exactly.
they're guys who have respect around this league. I don't know that Nick has that same level of respect, and I do think that matters with players. I do think that players see the cracks. So that matters.
Well, look, I'm curious where everyone stands on Sirianni. I mean, it's look, Sirianni and Hurts have always been a little difficult to judge from the standpoint of there's obviously been a major advantage with the roster how he's given them. So then you're trying to assess, how much to the quarterback, how much to the coach, and how much to the general manager. But when you focus just on the coach, how do you size them up? 215-592-9494. I mean, I'll just ask you this question. Do you believe in him? I do, still. Just a bad downturn and a bad loss isn't going to change my opinion. Big picture on Sirianni. Well, I think for the most part, it's done an exceptional job. But I understand it. I understand why people are down on him. I get it. But I'm not there. 215-592-9494. Where do you stand on Sirianni? We'll get to the offensive coordinator possibilities. We'll get to the reality with Bo Bichette. Maybe. Going to be a fill. We'll see.